Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm super excited about this topic, how to differentiate and communicate your offering. I'd love for you guys to turn on your videos if you possibly can. It's always nice seeing people when we're doing the webinars. This webinar is super important. If you don't have this information in place correctly, it's gonna the results from your marketing are just not going to be there. Like, this has to be in place. It is so important. So we are going to get started. So today's webinar is on how to differentiate and communicate your offering. So again, it is really important content. Just some housekeeping. If you have questions during the presentation, type them into the chat box and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation during the Q&A. Taylor is also here with me today. So if you put them into chat, she also can respond to you. Are you struggling to communicate everything your company offers? I want you to think about that for a second, because you might not really know, like, are you communicating everything your company offers? I'll tell you, when a client works with you, when they're working with you, they're like, oh my gosh, I never knew that you would help me so much. And then they list all the ways you help them, and they didn't know that before the sale, then you're not communicating everything you offered, like online, right? Or early on in the sales process, in order for them to really understand that. Like, there's a mismatch. We want to make sure that your story, how you're communicating everything on your website, online, matches up with what you're delivering. If you're also like delivering this amazing work and embarrassed to show your website or share your website with somebody else because it's not matching up with the work you're delivering, that's also another warning sign that you're not communicating what you're offering, right? That there's a mismatch. Maybe you think you are losing work to your competition. Are you losing work to your competition? And then I would even ask, are they really your competition? Are they? Are you guys offering the exact same thing? Or do each of you have something unique that you are offering, special to just you? Or maybe you don't know what makes your company unique. Yeah. How do I communicate that? And when I'm thinking about what makes your company unique, I want to really know, how is that, as like, if I'm the customer, how is that going to help me? Your customers are, it's all about them. They don't really care about you. It's all about them and their project, right? I don't really literally mean they don't care about you, but you get what I mean. It is, they're making a purchase. It's all about them. They want to know what's unique about you that's going to help them, right? Maybe you have some kind of specialty. Maybe you do kitchen designs and you are really great at, space planning in a kitchen, that you're really good at, like, maybe you have some, you're really great at some kind of custom elements, or you have products that somebody else doesn't have, or you had all this experience you've done, you solve a lot of problems. Like, what makes your company unique and how is it going to help your customer? That is the story that I want you to tell. If you're not communicating the unique value of your services in your marketing, how do you expect your prospects to understand it, right? If you don't know what makes you unique and you're not communicating it in your marketing, definitely somebody looking at your business online is not going to understand that unique value, right? It comes from you knowing what it is, communicating it in your marketing, and then them receiving it, them able to understand it. Each one of you has your own unique story, process, and solution, right? So your backgrounds are different, your processes are different, your solutions you deliver are different. Each one of you, even though you're all designers, you're all delivering something different. Like, for example, we design websites, we design logos. Our websites are different than somebody else's. Our logos are different than somebody else's. Our logo process is different than somebody else's. Absolutely, like our logo process guarantees absolutely our client is going to be super happy with the end result, right? Maybe you have something that's really unique about your process that makes it, so you can create a design that's really special and unique to them, right? What is that process? Are you talking about it? If you haven't met us before, I'm Deborah Scarpa. In the photo there is Ashley Blazing. We also have Taylor on board. We have a big team of amazing people helping interior designers. We help interior designers completely transform their brands to get found online, win their dream clients, and work smarter by streamlining their processes. Our team guides your business to success with custom branding, logos, websites, SEO, social media, email marketing. We help you really move the needle, help you grow, get to that next level. This course is approved by NKBA. Super excited about that. NKBA, they want you to have the course title, instructor, delivery method, CEU credits, in order to, get credit for those CEU courses. Taylor's going to put that in chat right now. We'll also be sending it out in a follow-up email and sending out a certificate for the course. So you get your credit for that. Today's agenda, your unique offer. What makes your company unique? What's unique about your services and or products? Are you exceptional at a specific design style? Or maybe you're exceptional at making everybody's design unique to them. There's benefits to both. It just depends on who you are telling that story, making sure that that you're a right fit. Are you an expert on specific types of projects? Maybe you're specialized in kitchens. Maybe you specialize in remodels. Maybe you specialize in, something else that's unique to you. Maybe you move walls. What's unique about your process? Definitely, they're not going to buy from you typically because of the process. They're going to buy because of the end result, not the process. But definitely the process can help guarantee the end results. Does that make sense? So for example, like our logo design process is super unique to us. I don't know anybody else who does it. When we're working on a logo mark, a custom logo solution that's a mark, like we work on the design for a couple of weeks, we have you in a meeting, and then in the meeting, I call it a working meeting, we actually can make changes to the logo and get your input right there in a live meeting. That's super unique to us. I can absolutely guarantee somebody's going to walk away with the end result. What is unique? I want to give that example so you can see how a process can help, like, make sure that you deliver a high-end product, right? So just think about, do you have a unique process? What's unique about your team? Maybe you have connections or team members that have, maybe you work with a contractor, right? Maybe another designer doesn't have that. It could be internal team, it could be, an external team, but that you're working with that could be unique to you. We're also going to put in chat, if you haven't taken advantage of it already, we do offer a free brand website SEO audit. Taylor will put that into chat. Huge value. I really go through your online brand, see what's working, what's not working, give you clarity on, honest feedback. And I run a couple of reports so we can see where you're at. What needs to change? We talk about your goals and what needs to change, in your marketing in order to reach those goals. So marketing that gets results. I know there's multiple steps. It's super important that you understand this. There's definitely multiple steps to getting results. So one, making sure your brand and website, is going to generate interest, build trust, and get your ideal client to take that next step. That is the job of your website and your online brand. You don't want somebody to come to it and then in 3 seconds close the tab. 2, driving traffic. Once you have that foundation set up, now you want to drive traffic to it. So many people I hear, they're like, oh, I have a website, but then they're expecting people to just show up on the website. No, it takes effort. It is very competitive online. It takes effort to drive that traffic to the website. You need to be doing that consistently. And the type of traffic, is it SEO? Is it from social media? Is it from your email list? Is it from, ads or Google Business Profile or referrals? Like, even if it's referrals, you should have a consistent, maybe you have emails going out consistently, staying in touch with people in order to drive those referrals. Or maybe you've been at events and you have emails going out to stay in front of those people that you've been talking to when you've been at networking events. If you really need to drive traffic, there's certain types of ads that you can run to get more visibility, right? Visibility in Google Maps, visibility in social media. And, it depends, like anything. I know that, ads can work or not work. It depends on how you run them. It depends on the strategy behind it, right? So social media, same thing. Like, it depends on how they're done. And marketing is always changing. So it's also working with a team that understands that you need to be constantly learning, you know, the trends of what's happening, like what the changes are, because you can't just do one type of marketing forever. Believe me, I've been in this business a long time. It is always changing. Right now, it is significantly changing, just because of all the AI technology. Absolutely. The companies that are not taking advantage of the AI functionality are definitely going to be left behind. Now, there's definitely certain ways to use AI and certain ways to not use AI. So that's a whole different conversation. But strategically, like saving time, saving money, getting more content out there by using some of the software that is coming out is going to be an absolutely a must. We are definitely leaning into that for our clients so we can get more done for them. It's going to be a huge advantage. Nurturing. When you're driving traffic, you also want to be like following up with people, nurturing them. If you're building a list, the idea is you have a website that's going to convert, you're driving traffic, and you're nurturing that list to stay in front of people with high value content, right? That's what's going to get you ideal clients. That's what's going to build trust. That's what's going to position you as an authority, is those steps. You do have to do them in a specific order. So definitely like step one of making sure that your brand is positioned correctly, your website is going to generate interest, build trust, and get ideal clients to go to the next step. This has to be done first, otherwise you're wasting time and resources. What is your story and how are you communicating it? I want to talk about how your company is being perceived online. This is an interesting one because I don't know that people really think about it. I want you to really think about this, okay? So this is Linda's website before, and then here is her after, okay? It doesn't matter what style you do. I want you to understand the before and the after, right? Big difference. So if you look at the before, it looks more like she's in business doing it as a hobby, right? She's not as professional. She doesn't take on as big of projects. That is how I'm feeling about it when I look at her online brand, what it used to be. When I'm looking at it afterwards, it looks like she takes on bigger projects. She charges more. She has more experience. She's an authority in what she's offering, right? So that is perceived value. That is how her work, absolutely the same. Her work didn't change between here and here. It's the same. Same person, same business, same work. It's how it's being perceived online, right? It's just the same as if you go to a restaurant. Let's say you go to a restaurant, or you look a restaurant up on, your phone or on the internet, and you see their website and the photos aren't great. So it makes the place look dirty. The pictures of the food aren't great, right? So it doesn't look that appetizing. And you're looking at it going, oh, like, I'm thinking this place isn't that great. And then you look at another website of another restaurant and, you know, they have beautiful photos of the food and, you know, the whole like design of the site and photos of the place. Like it just has the logo and everything is more professional, beautiful. Like that's what you want to experience. You're going to go there versus the other one. That's the same thing. That's the same way people are perceiving you. So think about, you know, if you're embarrassed about your website and you're like, oh, I'm embarrassed, I don't want to send people there. That's a big warning sign that, like, you know, you're not showing up online like you are in person. So just think about how your brand is positioned. You know, is it like the first site, the older one, where it looks like you're more affordable services? You know, a client who's coming to that first site is not going to have as much confidence in that company as the second one. Smaller projects, smaller investment. The second one that's more professional, more trust, luxury services, larger projects, larger investments. They're going to trust you more. They're going to assume that you do larger projects and you know, it is more of an investment to work with you. Here's another one. I want to show you another one because it's a totally different look and feel. Here's her before. Here's her after. Right? So again, it's like here, somebody would trust this company more than here. And it's multiple things. It's like the design, it's the copywriting, it's the professional photos, it's how it's organized and even the navigation, like how is the user experience going through the site? How easy it is it to contact you, you know? Is it really professional? You guys are designers. Designers, like, they're expecting you to pay attention to the details. They're expecting their experience with you to be like beautiful, no matter, you know, what they're doing, whether they're meeting you, you know, for an appointment, whether they're on the phone with you, whether they're like looking at your brand online. We want it to have that same look, same beautiful look. Like even if they get into a Zoom meeting with you and the background of the Zoom meeting is just a total disaster, right? They're going to get worried. You're going to be like, wow, this person's really unorganized. I'm not sure I'm going to trust them with my big project. That's what they would be thinking. Strategically position your brand. What I mean by this is don't skip this part. You know, don't skip. Like you really need to think about, how do I want to position my brand? Like positioning your brand is, so I go to your website, I'm on that homepage, I understand right away, within seconds, you're a good fit for me. You know, maybe you do kitchens in a certain location and a certain type of kitchen. I want to know right away, within seconds, that's a good fit. If I'm looking for kitchens and I go to a site and it's super confusing and I can't figure out what you offer, and it just says, welcome to my business with maybe some furniture shots, I'm super confused. I might go to somebody else. I don't know that you specialize in kitchens and you've been doing them for 25 years and you're amazing. Like, I don't know that story, right? So strategically position your brand to bring in that ideal client. So when they get to your website, they understand they are a good fit. And when I say that homepage is super important. Positioning your brand to attract your ideal client, right? So they know when they come to that site, you are a good fit. Make what you offer and how you deliver it unique. So what you offer and how you deliver it unique. Is it that you have a specific process that makes it super easy for them, less work for them? I am I'm sure that a lot of objections that, if you think about your sales objections, is it like, I don't know if I can move forward with the project because I am like super busy working and I can't, like, I don't know if I can be disrupted for, or out of my house or whatever it is for so many months, right? So do you have some way that, you make that easier for them? Do you have like a specific offer? Like maybe have a unique way of figuring out what style would be a good fit for them, or what solution would be a good fit for them. So really think about the steps to positioning your brand. Strategy first, definitely. Like I said, if we don't strategically figure out how we're going to position your brand, everything else is going to be off. Your website, however you're driving the traffic, however you're nurturing them, the copy's going to be off, the brand look and feel is going to be off. Everything is going to be disconnected. Like if you do a certain type of design style, I can look at somebody's design style and know, should we put like script fonts with that, or should we put like a sans serif? What's going to match her work? What kind of colors are going to match the work? What copy, how are we going to communicate what we're offering in the copy, right? That's all strategically deciding, figuring out what's unique about you and how you're going to communicate that. So I'm going to go through some ideas about how to set your company apart when you're working on that strategy. So, do you specialize in a specific style? Are you really good at color, window coverings, tile, flooring, furniture, accessories, moving walls? I don't know what it is, but I always call it your superpower. What is your superpower? What are you really good at? Like, for example, I'm super good at logo designs or just designing, right? I've been doing it for a million years. I'm just like really good at looking at something and knowing what needs to change. What are you really good at? Do you specialize in one area of the home or a specific type of niche? What type of projects? Like I had somebody recently that I met with, and like she like works with men all the time, and that's like a super good fit for her. Whereas sometimes I'm working with people and they're really specialize in kitchens. Or some people really are great at remodeling, or you could get really niche down. The advantage of being like really niche down is when you specialize in something, you repeat that process over and over and you become exceptionally great at it. Like if you're offering so many services and you're you know, doing one type of project and then, another type and another type, then you're always creating new processes and really trying to learn the whole time. It's harder to really, get exceptionally good at something. When you get exceptionally good at something, your profitability is going to go up. What you deliver is going to go up. Like, you're going to be able to build more trust, right? If you just really specialized in let's say commercial, small business or office spaces or something, right? And you got really, really good at that, or, whatever that specialty is, you're going to be really good at knowing how to deliver that. And you're going to be also able to build more trust with prospects that they can trust that you're going to deliver a high-end product because you've done so many. What type of projects are you really good at delivering? If you offer full service, virtual design, decorating, consultations, remodels, do you manage the whole project? Do you do project management? Do you not? Do you move walls? There's so many different options. What's unique about your service? So what services do you offer and why are they better? So just really thinking about, what are you offering? Why are they better? You don't have to write out a whole big thing about it. Just write some bullet points of what are you really good at? It's also great to write what are you not good at? What do you hate? What type of clients do you not want to work with? That's important too. Write that down, because it's important. It's just as important to communicate who you want to work with as it is a lot of times to say who you don't want to work with. Some people are really good at, handicap accessibility or aging in place, or custom design, like a custom design home. If you haven't done one before, right, then somebody who's really done a lot of those it's going to be so much more I would trust them so much more than somebody who hasn't. So again, communicating that online would make the difference if you're going to be able to, in order to get that conversation going, because so many people are just looking online and never reaching out to you. So it's super important these days, especially, after COVID and everything, more people are looking online. We want to make sure that when they look at your business online, it is communicating your unique value. So what is unique about your products? What is better about your products? Is it the quality? Are they custom? We have a client who does custom furniture, right? And then some clients love doing art and decor, and others don't. So what is really good? Are you exceptional at specific design styles? So what design styles do you just love doing? And are you do you specialize in one or a few types of design styles, or is it very specific to the client? That's super important to communicate. Are you an expert on specific types of projects? So I know I talked about this already a little bit. So what type of projects have you been doing for years? Because I had new construction, vacation homes, multifamily, restaurants, like, you know, what is it that you're really good at? Again, if you don't know and you're doing everything for everybody, and you're kind of having a hard time growing, having a hard time, being profitable, you might really look at that, because it's easier to grow. Like if you're offering limited services and then you're bringing on team members, you can have set processes that they can follow. Right? It's easier for somebody to bring on a team when you have set processes. It's also easier to target that type of client because they're very specific. And like the profitability goes up because creating new processes for new services is always more time consuming. And then also the result of what you deliver, you're just going to get more and more efficient and more and better at delivering that product. So the results that you get from that service, the end product is going to be so much nicer. So strategically position your brand. So again, what's unique about your process? So do you have a unique way that you do a consultation? How about your contracts? Do they pay, a large amount at the beginning and then installments, like monthly payments? I know that like we used to have, people pay like a large amount and then, when the project was done, like make another payment, which makes it hard on us and it makes it hard on the client because, then they have to come up with a large amount. Like, are your contracts like monthly so they can spread out the cost? Like that's super important to communicate. Maybe not on your website. Maybe you could talk a little bit about it, but definitely in that sales meeting or design. Like what steps? I've talked to some like designers that have really unique ways of figuring out how they're going to design a client's home. So what is your process? Project management. I know some designers love project management, have an amazing team to deliver that they can work with, or they'll work with the clients like contractors, or they can bring in their own. Some designers have like, maybe they don't want to do project management. Maybe they don't have a team or contractors or vendors, so, or maybe they won't work with another contractor, the client's own contractor. They'll only work with theirs. Installation, like, what is your role? Are you involved? Are you not involved? How involved are you? Are you a person that has really high-end clients that are super busy working and they can trust you and you're like managing the whole thing? Your unique customer service process. And I'm going through all these because when I ask somebody like, what's unique about you? Usually they're like, I have no idea. right? So I'm going through all this so you can really think about what is unique about me? Like, how can I set myself apart? So what processes are in place to offer consistent like services? And I know I already talked about my website or the logo design process. That's a really good example of how having that process in place, like I absolutely know I'm going to nail that logo every single time. In fact, I almost 100% of the time get that logo approved in that first meeting, and we're working with designers, right? Like that's crazy. What processes do you have that really can set you apart? If you don't if you're not really working on processes, you don't have them like in place, you don't have them that can really, you're having a problem with quality control, you're having a problem with like nobody else being able to do the work, you're having a problem with it not being consistent, the deliverable, the end result not being consistent. Absolutely, like start working on those processes. Start limiting and specializing and then working on those processes. I know that Ashley on our team, she would like have tasks for her to do so many processes a week. The best time to do a process too is when you're delivering a service. Like, okay, this next project, I have a little bit of extra time. Every time I go through, the different stages in the project, I'm going to work on setting up a process for each step, right? And think about processes as always something that needs to be worked on, improved. Things change, definitely. Software changes, your services change, processes are always something that can be improved. But, really working on those is going to really help build trust. Absolutely, you will gain clients by making sure that you have set processes. Your unique contract and billing process, right? So how do you charge? Like I talked about, bill. Do you take credit cards, right? Is the contract like, can you sign it online or in person? What's your process for that? What type of terms are you including in the contract? How are purchases made? Are you able to get items below retail price? What's the wait time? Like, can you cancel or return an order easily? How are scope of work changes handled? What guarantees do you provide? Those are all things super important to communicate when somebody's thinking about hiring you for a project. Like your unique design process. So do you do mood boards, or do you do like 3D drawings, or do you give like space planning or numbers of designs or design changes or material options, or how do you walk them through? Also, if somebody is super busy working, right? Let's say a couple, they're really busy working, they're, doing well for themselves, they want to hire somebody. If you have more set processes and you're communicating that, they're going to feel better, like, okay, I'm just going to let the designer like manage this. I'm going to trust that they're going to manage this. So because I know I'm super busy working and I'm just not going to have time. Right? Those processes, talking about them is going to build that trust. Your unique consultation process. Like, do you have a free, paid? Typically, when I say free, it's typically like a phone qualification call. It's not an in-person consultation, right? Is it a paid consultation, an on-site visit? Like, do you have like intake forms or surveys or, different ways you evaluate their wants and needs. You evaluate like the scope of the project. You discuss timelines, Do you have a way that you talk to them about, their budget? Do you have a way that you collect payments? And when I'm talking about communicating, like your unique process, obviously you don't want to have like all of this like on the website, but I'm talking about, from the time that they see you online to you have an appointment to, you're talking about doing the project with them, you're presenting a proposal. And think about like if you really work on the objections that you're getting, that can also help you understand what you need to communicate better earlier on in the sales process. So for example, if you get all the way to the end sale and then they're not buying because of something that like should have been communicated really early on in the sales process, then, just really think about, wow, could I communicate that early on? So maybe that wouldn't have been an objection, or maybe we wouldn't have, like, maybe they aren't a good client, but now I spent all this time with them that was wasted. Your project management and installation process. So to oversee the installation, do they, do you review drawings with contractors? Do you coordinate everybody? What parts do you do? Do you go over when the furniture is delivered? Do you not? Does all the furniture arrive at one time? Does it arrive like, after you order it? Like, what is that process? What's unique about your team? Absolutely. This is super important to communicate. So like I said, like what type of contractors, subcontractors, installers, team, vendor, like what's amazing? Like I have a policy that I only want A+ players on our team, right? Team is everybody, subcontractors, employees, everybody, vendors. Like we want to really think about like, are they A+ players? Are they getting results? Are you communicating that? How experienced is your team? And again, I talk about team as not just employed people, everybody that's consistently working with you on projects. That's who I think. You might even want to talk to them about your different team members. So let's say, like, let's say you're doing the sale and then when this project starts, you're working with somebody else. Like, just for a better customer experience, you probably want to communicate that. Hey, when we're doing this, then, the next step is going to be meeting with, you know, our first meeting is our strategy meeting, and our content strategist is going to be in that meeting. Right? I need to tell them that, otherwise they might be like, hey, I just built a relationship with you and now all of a sudden you're gone and I'm with this other person. I have no idea who they are. Right? So just communicating that. So it's a better client experience, and so it builds trust. And then, does your team have a unique way of communicating? Like, you know, talk to them about like how you want them to communicate. I remember, you know, one of my mentors that, oh my gosh, he's like amazing. He would always talk about like, is a client, like if a client is showing up as, let's say they're showing up as a C player type of client. They're not showing up as an A player type of client. Is it the client, or is it you're not setting them up to be an A player? I think that's something really interesting to think about. I mean, definitely sometimes it is the client, but if you had like a set way of doing things, and you know, would build more trust, and that if you train that person how you want them to show up and communicate that, then you're going to have a better client. So it's not, you know, it might be that you just haven't communicated to them how to show up. You know, like I'll give you an example. When somebody is, you know, thinking about working with us, I always have a conversation 100% of the time. It's super important to me to have a conversation with them and let them know, hey, if they're not happy with something, they need to communicate that to us and our team right away, because we don't know if you're not letting us know. And our team is more than happy to jump in a meeting with you at any time to like talk through content or whatever it is, because we know that a lot of designers have a hard time communicating, like maybe making changes in content, you know, in a written document. Maybe they're more verbal, right? So I'm on purpose communicating that up front before they even start working on that part of the project, right? So if you see that something, you know, is consistently, you know, like I want people to know up front, hey, we are so, like I say, we will make it right, right? I want them to know that we will do everything we can to make the content right. You just have to communicate it nicely to us, and we're more than happy to jump in a meeting, and in that meeting we will work on that and make sure that it's right. And then do you see that how that sets them up? So okay, I trust these people now, because there's probably, if you're doing a big project with somebody, there's going to be like a few road bumps, right? There's going to be some things expected. Maybe something shows up damaged. Maybe something isn't going to be delivered on time. Maybe, maybe something showed up the wrong color, the wrong, whatever it is. Maybe they tore out some walls and there was stuff that they found that they weren't expecting. Like talking up front, is that something unique that you do, that you talk to them up front? And, so it's a much better customer experience for them. And they know that you're going to be a good partner to work with. that could be something that you want to communicate to them. How long have you worked with your team, right? Have they been with you forever? Like Taylor here is a huge part of our team. She's amazing. Ashley and I have been together almost going on 10 years, right? So, you know, it makes a difference to communicate that, because then people will be like, oh, wow, like these aren't people that have just been working, you know, on our team for the last 2 months, right? Like they really know their stuff. It builds more trust. So I want you to think about like how you would communicate that. Strategically position your brand. So strategy is key to positioning your business to attract your ideal client. Do you see that? It's like really thinking about who you are, what's unique about you, what services are you offering, what do you specialize in, what is your superpower, how are you communicating that? Strategy is key to telling your unique story and communicating your value. And sometimes it's really hard to do strategy by yourself, right? So, you know, work with somebody. I know we help people with strategy. Like, we won't work with somebody unless we do strategy. There's no way, because like we don't know what their story is. We don't know how to communicate their value without having them go through strategy. It's just the same issue as if you're right, you're working on a project, you have a certain process to figure out, like, you know, what you're going to do for them. You want to communicate that. If you're not communicating the unique value of your services in your marketing, how do you expect your prospects to understand that? I know I went over that at the beginning, just wanted to repeat that because it is so important. So if you don't understand it, you're not going to be communicating it in your marketing, and your prospects aren't going to understand that they're a good fit. You want them to understand that they're not a good fit, and you want them to understand that they are a good fit, right? And the best fit. Thank you for listening. I know we went through a lot of content. How we can help, we do strategy, of course, branding, websites. We are launching a new designer masterclass. I'm super excited about that. Monthly online ads, we're offering that service with everybody that needs more leads. We have a specific way of like doing those. Monthly marketing. And then here, Taylor is going to put in chat again the link to our audit. Taylor, can you also put a link to our 30-minute calendar? Like, if you're interested in the mastermind group, just feel free to just feel free to book an appointment with the audit link. That would be fine. But if you're interested in that, yeah, you're so welcome, Joyce. I hope it was helpful. This is so important. I think people just skip this step all the time. And it is the most important step. I mean, it's hard for me to say the most important because there's so many different things to marketing these days, but it is super important. Like if you miss that step, and you know, the other important step is setting up the foundation. I would say all the steps are important. You know, then doing your ongoing marketing, absolutely driving traffic to the website. Like, yeah, you have to have the strategy. Number one, you have to have that website and your brand looking professional online. And then you have to have like monthly traffic somehow. Either you're pounding the pavement, making calls, connecting, going to events, you're doing online marketing, social media, ads, SEO, nurturing, email marketing, systems and processes, automations, working smarter, using AI tools to, work more efficiency, The only thing I would say to just be careful of with the AI tools is you have to be super careful using the AI tools for SEO. Because the AI tools are pulling other content off the internet, and you don't want to put duplicate content on your website. Google will mark your website down in rankings if you have duplicate content on your website. So, which is super important. The content needs to be unique to you. So really, when you're writing your website and you're doing SEO, be very careful of using AI to make sure that you don't get duplicate content. But that's kind of a whole different story. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I hope this was super helpful, and schedule a meeting with me if you're interested in any of those things, but we'd love to, help you out. All right. Thank you. Bye, everybody.